have you ever considered reflecting back on all the big experiences and big events in your life, and perhaps the obstacles and challenges that you've overcome, and then reflected upon what it was that got you through that challenge? Or perhaps you're still in experiencing a challenge or a difficult period of time. What is it that's getting you through? And what I mean by what's getting you through, things like attributes that you've had to find within yourself, new beliefs perhaps that you've had to form, or different decisions that you've had to make, and what strengths you've had to show or pull up from the depths of wherever they're lurking, or just strengthen or develop skills that you perhaps didn't realize that you had, or perhaps not the extent of the skill that you had. I think it's really powerful to do that, because we're all unique. We've all got this unique collection of experiences that we've had in our life that have brought us to where we are now, but also make us who we are and who we are becoming. And well, I certainly believe that all serves some kind of purpose. That's a reason for all of this. And it's all leading us somewhere. And that's pretty cool, I think. It's pretty exciting when you think of it in that way. And then if you can feel that way and think that way while you're in the middle of a challenge, then could that help you get through it? I know it's hard when you're deep in, it might be a really emotional event and things like that. It's hard to consider that. But could it help you if you were to reflect upon, okay, what strengths are required now? What could I find within myself to help me in this situation? Could it perhaps help a little bit in some ways? And I absolutely believe it could, certainly by asking the question or inviting some things within you to kind of be revealed. So reflecting on my own, there's a number of experiences, but I guess one that comes to mind in particular was where I went through a period of time where I lost, and it just seemed to just go away from everywhere. I lost everything in the financial sense, and that sort of included material things that I believed I was attached to at the time. And it was huge. It was like this snowball gathering speed, and there was nothing I could do about it. I mean, at the time when I reflected on decisions that were made, I thought, well, I could have done this differently. I maybe could have chosen to do something else here. But it was getting to a point of owning all of that, all of the decisions that led to that event, and actually seeing that actually this is something that I am meant to experience. This is an opportunity to face perhaps my biggest fear, that fear of losing it all, because I certainly did get to that point of just feeling, well, there really is nothing left. And all the emotions, the collective emotions that came with that, the shame, the blame, the humiliation, the contacting people and saying, look, I know that I owe you this money, and I want to pay it back, I fully intend to pay it back, but I'm not actually in a position to do that right now. Can we work something out? And actually I saw something incredible in people. Most people were actually quite open to that, and we were able to come to a resolution. So it showed me some real, how it was received was actually much, it was a great experience in that many, I could have, maybe I didn't think it was fully a great experience at the time, but on reflection I learned a lot about not just myself but other people as well in that process, and actually got to that point where, okay, I'm actually facing quite a big well, what I perceived to be darkness, because I realised that, yeah, I am facing something pretty big for me, and everything that's sort of around it, and what I perceived it, because it also challenged me on what I perceived I was at the time. It was like challenging my identity as well. It really, yeah, caused me to really face myself and go really deep within myself. And I got to a point where, well, I think the biggest thing that got me through, yes, there were a number of decisions I made, one of which being fully accepting all of it. So accepting responsibility, that for my place in creating this experience for myself, but also knowing there was an underlying thing like, okay, this is something I'm meant to experience. There's something I'm truly meant to get here. And that's when I realised, well, it helped strengthen my connection with the divine, that realisation that, or the confirmation that we are taken care of. There's something bigger at play. We are supported. Because I got to the depths of really not knowing how I could put food in the fridge or petrol in the car. In fact, there was a time when I didn't have a car, which had always been like a huge part of my independence, or that's the link that I'd made with it. So that was a major thing for me, when there was a period when I didn't have a car, and but that's when there were some 11th hour rescues. There were times, and what I mean by that is there were times when I just thought, can we actually feed ourselves at this time? And then something would appear, like there were little miracles in that, just showing me that we were taken care of. So it was that belief in the unknown. So if there's one key thing that it helped me figure out, was that belief in the unknown, and really strengthen that belief, and that we really are supported, and there is a reason for all these things. So I think that's the key thing that got me through. And also just realising that at the end of it all, with kind of nothing left, I was still here. It's almost like I really got that thing that when you lose everything, it's not death. I was still alive. And it was that awareness of, it's not the end. Just because you've lost everything, whatever that losing everything means to you, because in this experience that I had, it was financial and material stuff, which, to be honest, I'm now free of attachment to all of that. So it's actually been an incredible experience. Not that I'd recommend that anyone else has to go through that. I mean, I would encourage people to actually try and work through that fear without actually having to experience it in the same way as me. So that would be my suggestion. You don't have to experience it just because I have, but perhaps you might get something from it if you feel deep down that you can relate in any way. But really, yes, I think it's really important and beneficial for us to reflect upon what is the biggest challenge that we've overcome in our life, and maybe explore even wider than that, other challenges, and what you've shown, what strengths, new beliefs, new decisions that you've made as a result, and how that is serving you going forward. So serving you, but perhaps how that then can lead into your service to others. So a greater service, not just a service to you, but then how that enables you to be in service to others. So all part of our incredible soul journey. So perhaps something to think about.